Hey farmers, redstone honey block engineers, and ambitious builders who dream of terracotta towns dipped in beeswax. APKAFE's back, steaming latte in hand. Vanilla Minecraft gave us sugarcane and wheat, but Mojang cranked the cozy level to 11 the moment they dropped buzzing, pollen-covered bees into the overworld. These tiny critters aren't just for ambience. They hand you renewable honey bottles for sugar-free food, Honeycomb for waxed copper builds, and they speed boost crop growth like living bone meal machines. Yet I keep seeing players sprint past flower forests without a clue how to lure even one bee back to base, much less automate a full apiary. Today we're going deep. How to track down wild nests without mods, the safest way to silk touch them home, how to breed up a 100-bee super-hive without getting stung, and the clever redstone pulse that lets you harvest honey and comb on autopilot. We'll wrap with 4 creative build tricks. Picture waxed copper skylines, sliding honey block elevators, and a greenhouse that blooms twice as fast because your bees do the fertilizing while you AFK. All schematics and datapacks are sitting squeaky clean in the description. Fill your mug, throw a stack of flowers into your hotbar, and let's get buzzing.
Before we grab leads and campfires, let's lock in the fundamentals. Bees spawn attached to natural birch or oak trees, with beehives hanging somewhere between Y level 60 and 80. The game rolls a nest only when it first generates a chunk, and it uses a 5% dice roll on each qualifying tree. So hunting is a little like truffle snuffling. You keep walking until you smell honey. Flower forest is the jackpot, because literally every tree roll in that biome gets that 5% chance, and there are trees everywhere. Plains and sunflower plains can spawn nests too, but the trees are so sparse you'll spend an afternoon hiking. Once you spot a nest, count the bees. Up to 3 live inside, and they do a daily schedule. Sunrise exit, pollen dance on flowers, return to nest, drop honey level by 1, repeat until the little gauge hidden in NBT data hits 5. That's the sweet spot, when the nest oozes honey on the sides and you're allowed to harvest. Standard furnace smelts at 10 seconds per item. Bees pump out a fresh bottle in roughly 4 in-game minutes if you keep the flower field dense. So a dozen nests means free sugar, wax, and crop boosts all day. Good. Now how do we get them home without turning them into angry yellow darts?
Picture this. You finally found that perfect nest. The sun is setting, and you know if you punch it barehanded, the entire swarm turns into heat-seeking missiles. The first trick is textbook, but players still forget. Place a campfire under the nest. The smoke calms the bees, exactly like real life, and a fire pit is cheap. 3 sticks, 3 logs, charcoal in the middle. Next, verify the bees are inside for the night. Just wait until they tuck themselves in. You'll hear tiny door squeaks if you stand close. Once the 3rd bee darts in for bedtime, crouch for good measure, then swing that silk touch pick until the block pops. Boom! Portable hive with bee NBT intact. Now you need safe transport. Winter players might craft a boat and wedge it inside, but I prefer slap placing the nest onto a lead-connected bee so it follows. Yes, that works, because if the bee has a lead, you can lead both block and mob by pushing carefully. If you worry about nighttime phantoms, trap the nest in a minecart. Rails ignore block gravity and let you roller coaster the hive across ravines. Either way, keep the campfire in your hotbar. If any bee pops back out prematurely, drop smoke beneath it again. Let's say you've reached the base and slapped that nest onto a temporary oak log pole. The next logical move is a population boom. Flowers are your currency. Hold one in either hand and right-click 2 bees. They enter love mode, bounce midair, and pop out a baby with a half-size hitbox. The baby needs 2 in-game days to mature, unless you feed it more flowers. Here's a small hack. Plant a 2-wide syrup of lilacs around the nest, so bees bump multiple flowers per flight cycle. Every extra particle they pick up speeds the internal honey clock, meaning they return sooner, which means you can breed again sooner. After 10 or 12 bees swarm the first nest, expansion time starts. Craft fresh beehives, different from natural nests, using 6 planks and 3 honeycombs.
Place them at least 2 blocks apart in checkerboard fashion, because Minecraft uses pathfinding that sometimes glitches if multiple hives overlap hitboxes. A line of hives facing east catches early morning sun. Not that bees care, but your screenshots will thank you. Double up each hive with a campfire under a carpet. Smoke passes through the carpet, but you avoid accidental fire damage and keep the area spawn-proof. While you're waiting, lay out carrots and potatoes. Each bee pollination tick has a 5% chance to advance a random farmland block. Stack 10 bees and your wheat looks like it swallowed bone meal. Congratulations, you just built a passive crop accelerator.
So now the apiary buzzes louder than an airport. You could stand there clicking glass bottles all day, but we're redstone people. The Observer Edition goes like this. Mount the hive facing outward so you can see the honey level. Behind that face lies an observer pointing inward, meaning it watches the block state. 1 block behind the observer, add a solid, then a redstone dust wire leading to a dispenser that also faces the hive. Fill the dispenser with glass bottles. When the honey level hits 5, the observer outputs a 1-tick pulse, the dispenser fires, the honey bottle pops, and bees stay calm because of the permanent campfire. Add a hopper underneath leading into a chest, perhaps with an item filter if you're splitting comb and bottle lines. Now scale horizontally. 5 Hive Observer dispenser modules aligned. Common redstone bus on top, so 1 repeater line resets them. Use a comparator chain if you only want bottles produced when storage is below capacity. With 5 hives, you'll fill a double chest in roughly 1 real-time hour. Convert bottles to sugar if you run an overpowered villagers for treating factory or craft honey blocks. Remember, honey blocks ignore slime sticking rules, so they're perfect for piston elevators, which sneaks us right into building applications.
Honeycombs arrive via shear dispenser, same observer pulse, but replace glass bottles with shears. Each shear takes durability hits per comb, so auto-hode your dispenser with 4 pairs. Combs stack to 64, and 3 combs plus any log planks craft a decorative beehive. Or you can wax copper. Place the copper block, right-click the honeycomb, and watch the orange shine freeze the oxidation. People forget that honeycomb also waxes, cuts copper slabs, and makes stairs. If you're designing a cyberpunk city with copper neon stripes, keep waxed variants in your palette so the build doesn't age like milk. Creative twist. Combine a honeycomb block with candles. Same block shape, but candles give off a gentle flicker. Rename candles in an anvil to glow lantern for cozy library lighting. And speaking of libraries, bees increase crop tick for sweet berries too. Line azalea and berry bushes inside a greenhouse, bees will float overhead and speed grow them, making an automatic sweetberry farm a cinch. Just don't stand too close, berry thorns still bite.
Hardcore server players who fight with mob caps know the pain of hostile spawn rates tanking productivity in creeper farms. Bees can become unlikely allies. Because each bee counts as a passive mob, you can create a mob switch. Transport 500 bees into an unloaded perimeter chunk above the nether roof and trap them there. When the switch is on, the passive mob cap fills instantly, preventing new animals from spawning elsewhere. Then you flip a lever on your creeper farm chunk, toggle another portal that despawns the bee meadow chunk, passive cap freeze, and suddenly, hostile mobs spawn like crazy in your controlled chamber. Bees have a smaller memory footprint compared to cows, so the server lag stays lower. One caution though, Bedrock pathfinding updates in 1.21 made large numbers of bees expensive. If you run Bedrock Realms, cap the switch to 200 bees and add simulation distance command blocks so they only tick when needed. And if you're afraid of killing server TPS, even on Java, disable their AI through /data, merge, entity, @e, type equals Minecraft:b, limit equals 10, sort equals nearest, no AI :1b. After you trap them. They still count for mob cap, but don't simulate flight.
Honey bottles are great, but there's one more semi-forgotten item.
Potion of Slow Falling. It needs Phantom Membrane plus Awkward Potion plus Phantom Membrane again? No, it needs a Phantom Membrane once, but adding a honey bottle has no effect. However, bees indirectly help because honey blocks reduce fall damage. Combine that with slow fall potions to tackle end fights safely. Build cryo chambers inside end spawn. Honey block floors catch you if slow falling wears off, and bees in glass tubes along the walls set the mood. If you're a modded fabric player, Brewing Recipes Plus allows a honey bottle plus a rabbit's foot for the jump boost potion. That's fringe but fun for skyblock worlds. Keep honey bottle production separate from food supply though. Villagers won't accept honey bottles as valid food for breeding. Save them for sticky pistons. You need 4 honey bottles to craft 1 block, equal to 4 stacks of sugar if you convert. Efficiency matters when you're scaling.
And that's the complete buzz. From sniffing out flower forest nests and calm smoke extractions, to breeding exponential bee colonies, to observer-powered honey farms, waxed copper aesthetics, mob cap switches, and slow fall potion synergy. Your overworld now hums like a living engine. Crops ripen faster, copper roofs stay shiny, and your redstone contraptions glide on honey rails. Every schematic, from the 5-hive auto bottler to the Honeycomb shear array and the nether roof bee switcher, sits in the description below. Each link vetted by APK's Honey Trip Security. I want to see your best bee engineering. Maybe it's a fully automated honey factory, maybe a giant pixel art bee made of waxed copper, maybe a T-flip mob switch that toggles with a single bottle click. Snap a screenshot or drop a short clip on Twitter with the tag #MinecraftBeemaster. The sweetest design will get pinned in the next episode and earn eternal bragging rights. If this guide saved you from endless skeleton arrow trading, drop a like. If you crave more tech lattes, press subscribe. And don't forget the bell so YouTube actually alerts you when the next nectar-infused tutorial drops. Comments are open for troubleshooting. If your bees keep vanishing or your dispenser refuses to fire, paste your problem. I'll buzz back with fixes. I'm APKA, signing off to sip honey lavender coffee and watch my greenhouse pop more pumpkins thanks to my new winged workforce. Until next time, better every tap.